What? We're on
Oh,
live.
we are on live already. Jeez, we were just having some
Yeah.
fun. Hope we didn't
Escrow
sneak anything else
Tuesday.
out, that we were talking about. Hey, welcome to the show. My name is Charles Swanberg. This is Escrow Tuesdays, an interesting live show every Tuesday. Who would have thought that? My name is Charles Swanberg with Caimeiju Realty, and I've got Chewy here this week. And to my, let's see, is it? No, it's to my right is my co-host, Narhee Nguyen. Hi, Narhee.
Hi, Charles.
How you doing? How's Thanksgiving?
Good. Lots
Yeah,
and lots of turkey.
I see. All right. Well, we'll talk more about that later. But more notably, this week we have the amazing Victoria Felix from Northern New Jersey. Yay! Hi, Victoria. How are you?
I'm great. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm sure when I called you and say, "Hey, join us," and you're like, "Oh, what is this show? What is this all about?" But you're an
Exactly.
important part of ARIA, and you're important, family ARIA friends. So we couldn't leave you out. So welcome to the show. And Victoria, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I started in real estate 18 years ago. I was a fashion designer originally.
Oh.
And after 9/11, I did fashion and I did merchandising in the fashion industry. And I also sold technology for the fashion industry.
See, she
And
has she's doing the work thing and avoiding all of the personal kind of things
personal
about herself.
stuff,
This has been
married,
a theme lately, like
married for
remember with
20
Cindy.
plus years. And uh,
We're not ready to talk shop yet. You know. But
so,
I mean, did you grow up in the U.S.? Were you here? Were you always in
yes,
New Jersey?
my parents are from Puerto Rico,
Oh, cool.
and I grew up in Jersey City, born in the Bronx. J Lo.
Whoa, wow,
Oh.
tough
J
And
woman.
Lo.
my parents said we have to leave the Bronx, and we went to Jersey City. Grew up in Jersey City. Now Jersey City is an amazing place. Everybody knows it. It's quoted on TV shows and
Oh yeah.
kind of fun. Yeah, and I love fashion and went into Fashion Institute of Technology.
Oh
And after
wow.
25 years in the fashion industry, um, 9/11 hit,
Mm.
and I had to reinvent myself and did a little bit of marketing with my husband. And then I got a phone call from local real estate broker and said, "Oh yeah, we invest in real estate, and why not?" And here I am 18 years later, still doing it.
Wow, that works, huh? I
It
should
does
try those
work.
calls. I got to get to my scripts and stuff. So yeah. Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
I love real estate because it allows you to interface with people that you normally would not meet. You're engaging with them in one of the most important times of their lives. And so I always say that I'm a real estate agent slash therapist.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Therapist indeed.
Yes, yes, yes. So I've about 7 or 8 years ago, I started doing commercial transactions. And so I split my time between residential and commercial. Right now, most of my residential business is all from referrals from past clients.
Mm.
And yeah, and I focus on creating more commercial clients, which is a different way of approaching business. It's a different animal, and I really enjoy it. There's less emotion. It's more practical.
You don't like emotion?
Yeah, she just
Like it
doesn't
took
want
me a
to.
little bit longer, but it's less stress.
You don't want a hissy fit if the kitchen's facing the wrong way and the wrong color? The day before close? What's wrong with that? Or, no, I made the switch, many years ago and that was one of the reasons. I mean, it was just like, I don't get to work weekends. I can't work evenings. And, I like that. Okay.
And the paychecks are bigger.
Well, I would say, you know,
I
some
think
people
it
say the
depends on the
deal
market.
sizes are bigger. I've had a $13 commission check on a lease renewal that was split by 7 agents. So I can't say they're always bigger. That was before taxes. So, but there's more volume, especially if you do the user deals. Obviously, the investment deals, if you're selling the entire, hotel instead of one of the condos, it's going to be bigger. But
Exactly.
it takes a lot longer,
Exactly.
I would imagine.
Right.
So yeah. So, but what made you decide? I guess was it because of the investment side, and you're kind of in 9/11 hit with the the fashion thing that you went into real estate? I mean, what made you decide I'm going to get my real estate license?
After 9/11, which is a very trying time for many people, and a lot of people did not want to go back to New York, me included, I decided I wanted to stay closer to home and just kind of try real estate out. So what I did was I said, "Oh, I'll try this for a year, until everything starts going back into place." And then I like making my own hours. I like the business itself. My husband and I are investors in real estate, so it just made
Wow.
sense. And you just kept going.
Right, right. Hey, in case you're joining us just now live on Facebook, we are live Escrow Tuesdays with Narhee and Nguyen, my co-host, and we have the Victoria Felix, the one and only. Victoria, so you've been doing this real estate stuff. You went into commercial because you didn't want to deal with the emotions, which I don't blame you. But obviously, Aria to me is emotional. So how did you find Aria, and what drove you to that? I mean, did Aria find you, or did you
Yes.
find what happened?
Oh.
Tell us
Very
that story.
interesting story. I was in a B&I group
Okay.
and
Mhm.
met a couple of fellas, and one of them was actually involved in ARIA, was always promoting the ARIA events. So he asked me to attend one of the events. And then he approached me about considering a board position. And I'm like,
Wow.
not
Hey, so
me.
who is this unnamed person that you're talking?
He was the past president for Northern New Jersey, Vincent Ho.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And myself and a couple of other people were asked to come in and learn more about ARIA and consider putting in an application. And quite honestly, I put my application right after the meeting and just to be considered. I didn't think I was actually going to make the board. And then I learned a lot about being a board member, about working with a .org, which I had never done.
Right.
And it's a real great learning platform for people that want to do that kind of work. And then it translates into the rest of your business as well.
Mhm.
Well, I'm glad you see it that way, because some people feel like they're voluntold and they get wrapped up into it and they get tricked and, deceived to be an Aria like I did. And, but it's that cause, and it's, it's easy to join and hard to leave, I think, in my mind.
Exactly.
I think that's what a cult is, but yeah, anyway, that's a whole different story. But so, all right, so you're going to events, you became a member obviously first, and he asked you to be a board member. And so, how did that process begin? And now here you are. Oh, explain, what positions did you have in Northern New Jersey?
Practically all of them. So first of all, this is my 4th year with ARIA.
Okay.
Started as a board member, started to learn the ropes, what was entailed and what was expected of you.
Right.
Then the vice president had stepped down for personal reasons. I was asked to fill in as an interim VP, which I did. And then I was asked to step up as president, and I'm like, how are you going to have a Puerto Rican representing this chapter? And they said, it's not about you being Asian, it's about you being committed to the cause.
That's
and
right.
In my view, the cause is very much in line with many immigrant populations. And so I just jumped right in and enjoyed the process. Yes, was it frustrating? Of course. But it's a real great learning experience. You want to run your own business. Being president of a chapter is very much like that. You need to know how to delegate. You need to know how to pick up, the proper board members. And doing an event 12 times a year is very taxing.
Oh yeah,
And some chapters don't even meet the 12. The mandatory is 4, and we did 12. And I think we did actually 11 because we took August off. August in New Jersey is always like time off.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's when the humidity gets very, very comfortable, and the
It's
bugs
very
are extra
quiet.
big.
Everybody wants to go to the beach before September, so it's very quiet.
Well,
So it's hard, yeah, it's hard to get people to go to events in August.
well, thank you for drinking the Arya Kool-Aid. It looks like you did. You know, we usually have a moment where somebody is like, all right, what was that? You know, come on, please, you know.
And we haven't even gotten into the connections that you make, not
Isn't it
only
amazing?
across the country, but globally. So
Right.
yeah, I think it's a great organization, has a lot to offer on many levels. And if somebody's thinking that they got roped into something, then they're not looking at this properly.
Absolutely right. And I totally agree with you 100% that this is a great way, because a lot of broker owners and people, you know, their management is, you know, they have 1099 employees. You know, they don't have employees technically. They're just independent contractors. So there's no experience in leading a group of people that have to kind of follow your direction, right? Which is, you know, an ARIA chapter typically, you know, if you want to be successful, you have to have at least a common kind of, you know, leadership going. Everyone just can't be doing their own thing, like perhaps even a brokerage. So, and I think that's such a great practice kind of ground to, you know, hone those skills. And, you know, and Tom and Jim have said that plenty of times, you know, so I know I received a lot of, you know, great info and experiences from that. Yeah. So,
And the
well,
leadership for this organization is top notch. I mean, you don't get much better than, you know, John Wan and Jim Park and what's the third founder?
Mount Rushmore.
That's what we refer to, right?
Yeah. Well, it's usually Alan Okamoto, John Wong,
Alan.
and Jim Park.
Class act. He's a class act. I love talking to him. His story is amazing.
Isn't it? Yeah. Well, I think we all have stories, right? I mean, that's why we're here, because we know about, you know, perhaps struggles in home ownership or, you know, issues with inclusion and diversity. So it's a fantastic organization. But we all know that. We knew that. You knew that.
Right? That's why we're all here.
Yeah.
But
So
talking
let's get
about
to something else
stories.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about stories. Victoria, you have a story for us for a crazy episode?
Oh, and this is even going to beat Rhonda's story, because that's what Rhonda's story kind of lacked, if you know what I mean. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know who Rhonda is.
Oh, it's Rhonda from the Aloha chapter. You might know.
Oh, okay. So I have lots of stories about the property going up in flames while I was showing it.
Nice.
Oh,
Because there was a bird nest inside of one of those big can lights that sit on the back.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Those, yeah. So I go into this multi-million-dollar house with this young family, and I have a tendency of turning all the lights on in the house.
Oh, yeah, me too.
okay.
But I didn't realize that I also turned on the outdoor lights that were these huge cans that sit outside of the property. And there was a bird's nest in there. And in that bird's nest, it must have been dried and abandoned. So while we were showing the house, that was going up in flames.
Wow.
So when I came out, the entire front of the house was on fire. There was a tree next to it. So that tree was about to go on fire. I just was like numb. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I called 911. I called the agent that represented the owner's property. And the gentleman that was with me said, I saw a fire extinguisher in the garage, and he went and got it. He put the fire out.
Wow.
And then, needless to say, I did not sell that house.
They didn't buy it.
A little crispy, you know.
And I have a few, like letting in the wrong cat in the house, finding guys sleeping in an abandoned house in Brooklyn. The stories go on and on.
But why don't you give us a little story on that one that you hinted before, where you found some things
Bodies?
in a closet? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on.
Bodies?
Yeah, so I was working with a young man that wanted to do a complete gut renovation on a brownstone.
Okay.
So we looked at a couple of different properties, and we found this one property, right location in I think it was Bed-Stuy or Bushwick. I can't remember. I want to say it's Bed-Stuy. And so we go there, the agent meets us there. A couple of other people are actually going to go see the property. So there was multiple groups waiting to get into this property. And it was one of those properties that you just couldn't make an appointment to show up. The agent had to come, take the padlock off. And it was, you know, very rough condition. And we're all walking through the property. And I get to the third floor first. And I open the door and there are 3 bodies laying down, and apparently they look dead to me. So I panic and I close the door. I go downstairs. I tell the agent, we have a problem. And he says, what are you talking about? I said, you need to come upstairs and see this. And we all thought these 3 guys were dead. And so we all like, everybody out, everybody out, everybody out. We're all standing in front of the building. He's calling the owner. And all of a sudden, the 3 guys walk out of the building.
Oh, shit.
Fixing their pants. Like, you guys woke us up. What's going on here? That's our hangout. They just looked at us and just kind of shrugged their shoulders and kept walking.
I guess this was before official ADUs and things. I guess they had to be a little more creative, huh? Literally coming out of the closet. All right.
Exactly. That's a good one. I like that line. I'm going to use it.
Yeah, a menage a trois in the closet. Nice. Okay.
Oh my God.
Wow. Well, now that was the thing missing about Rhonda's story is she had everything. This story that she was talking about was crazy, and the only thing that was missing were where the bodies were buried. You know, at least these came alive and were real.
Walked out.
Wow. All right. Well,
Oh my gosh.
that is just crazy. But yeah, house on fire. I mean, I've only got like RVs showing up on, you know, driveways mysteriously the weekend before it closed or something. So you got me beat on that. All right. Well, we're going to do a share here to see what we've got going.
Looking good.
All right. So I always wonder, oh, whoops. Hey, what happened? There we go. Let's, again, these people, one of these days we've got to change that. All right. So thank you for sharing that story. And look at Victoria looking quite regal there. All right. So we've got Victoria's top New Jersey or top 5 list here. So are you ready? You get to explain them because I have no idea what these things are. All right. So
first I want to explain that picture. That picture was taken in Utah.
Oh.
It's a developer called Hall Labs. They invent all sorts of things, and that was like a off-road or something.
Right, no, it's a 3-wheeler, and I've seen them going down my neighborhood. I was kind of going, wow, you got to ride those. Yeah,
I got to drive one. Yeah, that was quite the experience.
Right, wow. All right, well, after driving that, you now go to, what is son cubano?
So son is a type of music that comes from Cuba.
Oh, wow.
And Son Cubano is just the name of the restaurant. It sits on the waterfront in West New York, overlooking the New York skyline. It's a beautiful room.
Wow.
Traditional Cuban music is played while you're eating. Occasionally they'll have some live music, and you can either eat outdoors or indoors. Obviously now you have to eat outdoors. Wow. But it's a fun place. I've had some events there.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah. Well, invite me on your next event. That sounds really good.
Pastore.
Pastore. They are a traditional Italian food market in Florham Park, which is a couple of towns over from where I live. And they have just a lot of imported Italian goods. And they also make a lot of fresh food. So, you know, you think you had great seafood salad. When you go there, you're like, oh, wow, this is seafood salad.
Really? Like, so is it like a walking kind of area where you can walk?
Yeah, it's like an Italian deli food market. Yeah,
you miss that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In LA, you got to drive 20 minutes between restaurants, you know, to get there, and another 5 minutes to park. Yeah, it's just not set up as much that way. All right. Laku, all one word, sushi.
What is that?
That was me trying to correct the spelling, and he wrote it in. Okay. So Laku is actually owned by a Korean family. They do sushi as well, but their Korean food is the best. and I love, and I know I'm gonna not pronounce this properly, but the bibimbap in the hot bowl.
Bada bing bop. What?
Yeah, it's called
Bibimbap.
goop bop. I don't know. My partner is Korean, and if he was looking at this thing, he's gonna tell me, "Boy, did you kill that?" So it's the hot stone bowl with rice at the bottom and either
Right.
seafood or beef, and you just stir it all up, and it's just great.
Well, that's the thing. When I get one of those, all the Korean servers that walk by are like pointing and looking at me, going, "Stir that thing," and I'm like, "No, I like to eat it separate." I hate it when I do that. Like that crazy half Japanese guy doesn't know what he's doing.
It's called the basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Basic is in Jersey City. I get around. So Son Cubano is in West New York.
Victoria gets around.
Yeah, Forum Park. Laku is in Morristown. Basic is in Jersey City, which is my hometown. It's close to the New York City Holland Tunnel area.
Right.
And I go there very often to get my espresso. I have espresso every day. And occasionally I have to have a macchiato or something like that, or a Cuban coffee, which is called cortado, which means cut. And it just is half espresso, half steamed milk. And I'll go there.
Are you addicted to coffee?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm a coffee snob.
We could help, We could help.
And so I like it because it's a neighborhood coffee shop. So a lot of locals sit around. They'll bring their kids to school, and you get to talking to people. So it's just a great little place. So actually owned by a Japanese family.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Hence the confusing name. Okay. All right. So this is another one of your favorite hangouts, right?
So Liberty State Park is a state park that sits right on the waterfront, overlooking the entire New York skyline from downtown to uptown. It's an amazing place.
Is it kind of like by where Hoboken is or Fort Lee, or give us an idea?
Hoboken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right. It's actually in Jersey City.
Okay.
So in the summertime, I will drive into Liberty State Park, find a nice shady spot, pull over, pull out my laptop, and open my sunroof and work out of my car, which, as a realtor, that's your office now. And just hang out there, and just do my work, do my phone calls, and let the breeze in.
I almost do the same thing at the St. Peter Port Pier. I'll just pull up and I'll have my iced coffee, and I don't even pull out my laptop. I'm so lazy. I'm just working off my phone, and I'll even do a Zoom call or two, these days just cooped up in the house too much, just want to get out and drive. So, well, thank you for sharing the New Jersey top 5. So if you're in town, you guys, get a hold of Victoria. She knows where all the cool spots are. I mean, all you guys, we had Karen on our show a few episodes ago, the shy Karen, not so shy Karen.
I recruited Sharon to be on the board.
Oh, you mean Karen?
Yeah.
Karen. Oh, is that right? Good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, she is awesome. All right, so let's go to now a little trivia. You got your glasses on. I don't, but I know who these people are. We're going to kind of do a New Jersey who dat. You ready, Victoria?
I'm ready.
Ready? Just throw out the name when you see it.
Bruce Springsteen.
Wow, you got that right. Because that's not like his, the one that he typically has. That's kind of a little more rugged. All right, who dat?
Have no idea.
Really? Just some lady. She's
an actress, but I don't know her name.
Yeah, well, she's from New Jersey. She is a Kirsten Dunst or something.
Dunst.
She's the Spider-Man.
Yes, I recognize her face. Yeah.
Right. All right. Here we go. Number 3.
Oh, John Bon Jovi.
Of course. I mean, I could have shown him, more of a period look, but what a cool guy.
He's great now, but he's still hot, and he looks like he's a good person.
Yeah, right. I think he does a lot of charity work and stuff. It seems like a pretty cool guy.
He actually went into the food banks during COVID and was handing out food and donated lots of food. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, he looks like he's a super guy.
And you don't hear about it. I just love people that just give instead of trying to get publicity from it, you know? Just
Right.
be honest and give. What about this guy?
Is that Shaq?
It is.
He's from Newark.
It's not Mr. Clean. It's Shaq.
Wasn't he brought up in Newark?
They say he's got roots in New Jersey, but the internet is always right, Victoria. You know that. Wikipedia is always correct. So, all right. Well, we'll leave that up to. All he knows is he's got a huge pad. You know, Cindy Hansen was at his Miami home with the big S on everything. So,
yeah.
But Jersey, who's this guy?
No way, Jack Nicholson, really?
Yeah. According to Wikipedia, which is, you know, absolutely correct.
Travolta.
A little grease lightning here, right? There you go. Yeah.
Right there, he was from New Jersey.
Yeah. And then we have, of course.
Whitney Houston, and we actually know someone that knows her family.
Right. All right. Let me see if you can guess this one, because this isn't his most recent photo.
Oh, yes. Mr. Hoboken. Yes.
Yeah.
Sinatra.
So he's from Hoboken, huh?
Yes.
So Hoboken, how close is that to Peterborough Airport?
About 20 minutes.
Okay, so it's not exactly that close. Okay.
Right.
I had a friend who used to fly.
He didn't live there long.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
she did great.
Yeah, I know. Last week, Cindy just didn't. I mean, she had a tough time. I picked a few tough ones, you know, but that wasn't so bad. All right. So here is some of the stuff. And you tell me if these things make any sense. This is Victoria Felix's New Jersey.
So you want to know the story about that particular photo? So there's a company that does calendars for you with your name, and they
is that right?
And I just, you know, did a screenshot of it and used it one year.
Do they insert like some Korean shirtless firefighters with just suspenders on? No.
No, but
not that kind of calendar. Okay.
I would sign up for that one.
Okay. No, Narhee was looking at it and go, Charles, you're so creative. And I'm like, oh, I kind of took that off of her page. All right. So here's fun fact number one. You tell me if this is correct. New Jersey is the most densely populated state in the country. Really? You guys are all like cooped up, huh?
Okay, so I would say New York, but New York is so big and everybody thinks about
you got upstate and everything, right? So
I say yes. True.
Okay, well, it is true, I guess. Kind of a
definitely diner capital, no question about it.
Why is that? It's just they're everywhere, or what?
It's a Greek thing, and I guess we had a big Greek community, and they kept opening up restaurants, and they were coined diners, and because everything's on the menu, anything you could think about.
Right.
And there's some really cool ones, really.
Okay.
Oh.
I did not know this.
I want to say yes.
Has the longest. I'll give you a hint. I think they're all yes, but you know, we could always dispute them. Apparently, New Jersey was home to the first baseball in Hoboken. I mean, Hoboken keeps coming up.
There's actually a big sign on 11th Street that says it's the.
Okay, so it is correct. All right. And I didn't realize, where's Camden? Is it anywhere near you?
No, that's right by Philadelphia.
Okay.
Right on the border.
I guess that's where they're now having, socially distanced proms and galas, right? You know,
well, actually, drive-ins are making a comeback all over the country because of this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but there were some campaigns that were done at these drive-ins where people actually drove their cars in to hear the
right
president or whoever it was. I don't remember who was.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right. Well, the state motto is liberty and prosperity.
We should all live by that motto.
Absolutely. And then we didn't realize that the entire borough, and we don't really talk about boroughs, and especially in like Los Angeles or anything, but you know, in the great cities like Chicago, New York, and of course New Jersey, we've got these boroughs that are very distinct. So
I don't know anything about Roosevelt. I don't know.
All right, well, we'll give you a homework assignment. You will have to find out. And the first Indian reservation, of course, was in Shamshong Township. Everyone knows that. I didn't know that.
Interesting. I didn't know that either.
Is that something to do with some movie? And then, of course, the first modern submarine ride was taken in the what river?
Passaic River?
Yeah.
Wow.
You didn't know that, huh? Like I said, Wikipedia is never wrong.
Yeah.
Apparently, you had the first seaside resort. Of course, you guys have a lot. You're famous for that. So I guess Kate.
Cape May is a big hot spot in the summer.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
is that anywhere near the Jersey Shore?
It is the end. It's exit 0 on the Parkway, so you can't go any further. You have to
Okay.
take the ferry over to Delaware from there.
I see.
It's a very historic town, has beautiful Victorian homes, and they're all B&Bs, and you can rent
Right.
them and hang out, and it's a cute little town.
Wow. Sounds so inviting. I mean, I wish I had more time to spend in New England and that whole area, you know, being in Boston last year. I mean, it just seems such a blur,
Great.
huh?
Yeah, Boston's great also.
All right. Well, coming up, we've got, Andy Peters, who is the Southeast Regional, coming up, Andy. And then Priska. I think you're familiar with who Priska is.
Oh, sure. Her sister's on my team with EXP. And Priska and I know each other very well. We've traveled together, and she's on the board, and she's the incoming president for Northern New Jersey.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know how it happened, but we've had now. She's going to be the third person from the Northern New Jersey chapter on our show. I have no idea. I was talking to Raj one day, and he was having lunch with her, like a couple months ago. And Raj was kind of hard to find. I'm like, oh, now we know what you're doing, Raj, on your spare time. You don't hop on the CDC calls, hanging out with Priska, having lunch. Okay. Well, it is the first day of December. Go figure how quickly time has flown, right? I mean, we were locking down like in, what was it, late February, early March, and it's already freaking December.
Yeah, 8 months.
I'm so glad to put 2020 behind us.
One more month. Well, before you put 2020 behind you, don't forget to subscribe, like us, and follow us on Facebook, and of course on YouTube. And so, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And here's an old photo. You probably recognize the location.
That is either Seaside Heights or Atlantic City.
Yeah, it might be probably Atlantic City, but I could be wrong. Hey, wow, they didn't defund the police back then. Go figure. Or maybe he's a security guard. Anyway, Victoria, thank you so much for joining us. It's a great way to get to know you. For Narhee, who is, one of you guys in the regional, I said, well, I'll just bring a bunch of regionals on the show. That way we get to know them. But, sometimes when we are at these national events, we're having a good time and talking. Sometimes we get to sit down and talk, and find out, we had no idea about your Puerto Rican origins and your involvement, how you got, into ARIA, and that you were the one that brought Karen Park into ARIA. Holy moly.
And I have two half Filipina granddaughters.
Oh, is that right? There you go. Is there anything you'd like to plug, Victoria? Any projects coming up or any events in your local chapter that you could think of?
Well, actually, I'm going to have my first regional call with all the chapter presidents tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, you heard this on here. You better hop on that Zoom. and there's going to be no homework done at the lesson, okay? You're going to actually have your homework done.
And we're looking to 2021 to kind of bring some new life to ARIA and take it in a new direction, because we all have to reinvent ourselves, including ARIA and our events. Our virtual events have become, a challenge. How do you make it different? So
no, absolutely. Yeah, everyone was, had been zoomed out by probably May, so you really had to be creative. But we're so glad you're on, the CDC team. Last year I had a lot of fun with it, and I know, Elena and Garrick are having a lot of fun with it. And like I said, we're so glad to have you there. I still remember our Uber ride coming from some fancy, interesting bar that Global had in Boston. We were actually traveling.
That's the little secret about ARIA, is that we have a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
It's all work. A lot of work, a lot of volunteerism. A tiny little bit of fun, right? Yeah. So anyway, Victoria, thank you so much again for joining us. My name is Charles Swanberg with Escrow Tuesdays, And thank you again. Stay safe. We've got the Leadership Summit coming up for ARIA. That is in January. What were the dates?
January 13 and 14.
There you go. Don't forget to sign up. You know,
Yep.
we need to break last year's record. It can't stand. So anyway,
or
Victoria, Narhee, and Chewy, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you later on. Let's give it a big wave here.